So great start expected for the Indian markets as well. But let's tell you other big global stories we are tracking at this hour. And first up is Donald Trump, that is once again saying Tehran wants a deal badly, but warning tougher actions could still come. Trump claims the US blockade has stopped all Iranian vessels, saying more fighting is possible unless Iran gets smart, and insists Washington won't allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons. He also said oil prices could tumble soon as supply routes reopen, while touting strong US markets despite escalating geopolitical tensions. Let's go across and listen.
I'm not doing any relief until they sign an agreement. When they sign an agreement, we can get that place built up again and have something that's really a good country for the people. But no, we haven't offered anything. Oil is going to come tumbling down. There's so much oil. We have 1,600 ships in the Strait that are loaded up with oil that are going to be coming out very soon. So we'll have to see. But the military has been unbelievable. The blockade has been infallible. Not one ship has gotten through.
Right, and the latest Fed minutes also turned sharply hawkish, where the majority of officials warning rate hikes may still be needed if inflation stays elevated. Several policymakers wanted the Fed to drop its easing bias altogether as energy prices, tariffs, and Iran conflict continue to fuel inflation concerns. Markets are now pricing in possible tightening by the year end, while incoming Fed Chair Kevin Warsh faces an early policy test and rising yields and stubborn price pressures.
And Nvidia delivered another blockbuster quarter with revenue jumping 85% and data center sales nearly doubling on booming AI demand. Now, the chip maker beat street estimates and forecast stronger than expected revenue for current quarter, while unveiling an $80 billion buyback and sharply higher dividend. CEO Jensen Huang said that the demand has gone parabolic as agentic AI and robotics drive the next wave of computing, though the stock slipped after earnings despite the strong numbers. Let's go across and listen in.
This was an extraordinary quarter. Demand has gone parabolic. The reason is simple. Agentic AI has arrived. AI can now do productive and valuable work. Tokens are now profitable, so model makers are in a race to produce more. The next wave is physical AI, with billions of autonomous and robotic systems operating in the physical world. This is the third segment we were talking about earlier. And rounding out the top 5 things, we have a major new growth driver, Vera, the world's first CPU purpose-built for agentic AI. Vera opens a brand new $200 billion TAM for NVIDIA, a market we have never addressed before. And every major hyperscaler and system maker is partnering with us to deploy it.
And SpaceX has officially filed for what could become the largest IPO in Wall Street history, potentially valuing the company at up to $1.75 trillion. The listing could push Elon Musk's net worth beyond $1 trillion as investors finally get a look at SpaceX finances. While revenue surged on booming Starlink demand, the company remains loss-making and heavily indebted. The filing also highlights SpaceX's massive AI ambitions, including space-based computing infrastructure and long-term Mars colonization plans.
All right, and OpenAI is reportedly preparing to file confidential IPO papers within days and setting the stage for one of the Wall Street biggest ever listing. The ChatGPT maker, valued at over $850 billion, is working for Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley on the prospects and could go public as early as September. The move comes amid intensifying competition with Anthropic and a growing rivalry between Sam Altman and Elon Musk.
Meta Platforms is laying off 8,000 employees as CEO Mark Zuckerberg doubles down on artificial intelligence, telling staff that success isn't a given. In the AI race, the company will also shift around 7,000 workers into AI-focused roles while protecting teams tied to AI infrastructure and monetization. The cuts come amid mounting employee anxiety, falling internal morale scores, and broader tech sector restructuring as companies redirect spending aggressively towards AI.
And the UK has signed what it calls a historic trade agreement with the Gulf Cooperation Council, becoming the first G7 nation to secure a deal with the bloc. The pact is expected to add £3.7 billion annually to British economy and remove the 580 million worth of tariffs each year. Prime Minister Keir Starmer called the agreement a major boost for jobs, wages and long-term economic ties with Gulf nations including Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Qatar.
And Putin and Xi Jinping revive talks around the long-delayed power in Siberia, 2 gas pipelines as the Iran war rattles global energy markets. The proposed 2,600-kilometer project would send 50 billion cubic meters of Russian gas annually to China via Mongolia. While Moscow and Beijing signed a binding memorandum to advance the construction, the major issue, including pricing, financing, the timelines remain unresolved amid the rising concerns over energy security and disrupted Strait of Hormuz supplies.